I am lucky to have one of our awesome coaches here joining me today. Coach Busby, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, guys. My name is Coach Carrie Busby. I'm the head softball coach here at Agnes Scott. I've been here for about 7 years. I think this is 7 now. So I'm really excited to kind of share with you a little bit more about our athletics programs.
Yeah. So I'm going to be doing kind of a big overview of Agnes Scott, helping you get to know our students, helping you get to know our campus community. And then after that, I'm going to turn it over to Coach Busby so she can give you a little bit more insight into what that athletics experience looks like at Agnes Scott. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I always like to talk about is our mission statement, because I think it's such an integral part of our identity and really our campus community. And so the mission of Agnes Scott College is just to educate women to think deeply, live honorably, and engage the intellectual and social challenges of their times. So a very important part of, again, how our students are engaging with our campus and with their time here. I also think it demonstrates we're trying to prepare our students to be leaders, whether that's, in the challenges that we're facing, being change agents and really addressing those challenges in whatever fields they plan to go into after graduating from Agnes Scott. A little bit of an overview on our campus in general. We do have a 100-acre campus in Decatur, Georgia. So Decatur is part of the Metro Atlanta area, which is kind of the biggest metropolitan area in the southeast of the United States. The nice thing about that is that there are a lot of resources that go along with being in such a big metro area. So whether those are professional resources in terms of internships and companies in the area, great concert venues, sporting events, but also a lot of other colleges and universities. So there are about 20 colleges and universities total in the Metro Atlanta area. So our students get to take advantage of those other campuses and meet students across different campuses as well. We do, of course, have a liberal arts curriculum. And in particular, our liberal arts curriculum is known as our signature experience, which is Summit. So that's kind of an experience that all of our students are going throughout their 4 years. And I promise I'm going to expand more on what that looks like in just a few minutes, as well as, like I mentioned earlier, Coach Busby is going to tell us a little bit more about our athletics programs, but we do have Division III varsity athletics at Agnes Scott, including 6 varsity teams. In terms of our community and kind of who is calling Agnes Scott home, we have about 1,000 students on our campus. And they're packing a lot of diversity into that 1,000 students. So they represent 42 different states and 17 different countries. About 63% of our students identify as students of color. So an interesting fact about us is that we don't actually have a racial or ethnic majority on our campus. And about 33% of our students identify as first-generation college students. So these are just a few metrics, by no means all-encompassing of the experiences that our students are bringing with them to Agnes Scott, but just a few things to help you get an idea of that diversity that is present on our campus. I think that is a big reason why students are choosing to attend Agnes Scott, because they're excited to be in a setting where, yes, there are going to be people who share experiences with you and have similar backgrounds, but also people who have completely different experiences and come from such different backgrounds, and being able to really kind of share space with lots of different individuals. Another piece of that, of course, is that we're a women's college, which is why we're here today to talk more about women's colleges. For us, we are an inclusive women's college, and that means that we accept students who were assigned female at birth and continue to identify as female, as well as students who identify as trans, non-binary, agender, gender fluid. They're all eligible for admission at Agnes Scott College. And so part of that women's college identity means that in all of our spaces that we have, whether those are academic spaces, spaces in clubs and organizations, in your residence hall, they're all kind of centered around the voices of women and other historically marginalized gender identities. So really giving privilege to those voices that aren't always giving privilege in other circumstances. And so I think that is another big reason why students like Agnes Scott, maybe even the coupling of those two things together, that diversity that's present, being able to interact with so many people who have different experiences from you, but also that women's college experience as well. Makes people excited about Agnes Scott. Makes me excited about Agnes Scott, I should say. A little bit of insight into our campus itself. We are a residential campus, so students live on campus all 4 years, and we've got a lot of different options for you. So starting in your first year, all of our students live in one of our 2 first-year residence halls. These are community style, so you would have a roommate and kind of share a communal restroom on the hall. The nice thing about that is that you really get to know your first year class and start making those connections with your other peers and classmates. After that first year, there are a lot of other opportunities for you in terms of living on campus. So we do have upperclassmen community style residence halls, as well as suite style dorms as well. In addition to that, we've got 3 learning living communities. So these are actually houses on our campus where students can live. Normally about 7 or 8 students would live in one of these houses. And then we have an apartment complex as well. So that's about half a block away from campus, maybe a 3 or 4 minute walk, I'd say, from our main campus. And the nice thing about the apartment complex is you can be a little bit further, have a little bit of your own space, but still be a part of that residential experience, which I think is a big part of your 4 years at Agnes Scott. We have 8 academic buildings on campus as well. We're gonna explore those in just a second as we talk about what our academic offerings are. And also 3 dining facilities. So we've got Evans Dining Hall, which is an all-you-care-to-eat buffet style, Molly's Grill, and then Black Cat Cafe. I think Coach Busby would agree with me that Molly's Grill in particular tends to be pretty popular with our athletes, especially like after late practices and things like that.
Definitely. I think the other cool thing about Molly's is they shake it up a little bit. They've had poke bowl days. Who doesn't love a good fresh sushi bowl? And it's also a great place where you can go in, stop, get your Gatorade, yogurt, whatever it is you want to take back to your dorm and kind of keep it in your fridge or save it for later.
Yeah, so all 3 kind of great options to make sure you're well fed during your time at Agnes Scott. We also have a wellness center on our campus, and so they do offer services to all of our students throughout their time at Agnes Scott. We have a nurse practitioner here who does kind of address your physical health needs, as well as counseling and psychological services, which can help you address any mental health needs that you have. Both of those are available to students when we're on campus, as well as currently as we're in a remote setting. They have virtual appointments available for students. And one of my favorite things about the Wellness Center is they actually have a student advisory committee. And so they really are committed to listening to the voices of our students and making sure that they are serving our entire student population with whatever offerings they have through the Wellness Center.
Yes.
And then lastly, we've got athletic facilities. This is just a teaser because Coach Busby's gonna talk a little bit more about what that looks like in a few minutes. Okay, so going back to that kind of academic life, what does that look like on Agnes Scott's campus? We do have 34 majors and 32 minors that are available for students to study in everything from astrophysics to biochemistry to international relations and art history. We've got a little bit of everything. You'll see up here our most popular majors are psychology, public health, neuroscience, business management, history, and biology. The reason I love those most popular majors is that I think you see the wide variety of interests that are popular with our students. So it's not just that they're interested in STEM or they're just interested in the humanities, but it really is a good mix of a lot of different areas. In addition to those majors and minors that we have on our campus, we also have 3 dual degree programs and 19 cross-registration options for our students. So these dual degrees, they're actually partnership programs with some of our local universities. And the way they work is that you would spend 3 years at Agnes Scott and 2 years at a partner institution. And then at the end of the 5 years, you actually get a degree from both schools. So we have an engineering program with Georgia Technology Institute and a nursing and computer science program with Emory University. And then for those cross-registration options, earlier I mentioned that there are about 20 different colleges throughout the Atlanta area. And the nice thing is that we are connected to all of them through a program that we call ARCH. So if there's a course that maybe we don't offer at Agnes Scott, but you're really interested in taking, then you can go and take that course at Emory or Georgia Tech or the Savannah College of Art and Design, and then have that course credit transfer back to Agnes Scott. So that's another big advantage in terms of your academic experience.
Just quick, sorry, Emily, just quick. The engineering dual degree and the nursing dual degree are extremely popular amongst our athletes, as well as the cross registration. I've had tons and tons of athletes that take other language classes, in particular sign language, on other campuses. And it's a great opportunity for them to just get a little bit more experience in other areas.
And get a little bit of a different classroom experience too. I think for that sign language in particular, most of our students do it at Georgia State, which isn't too far away from our campus. And they have a pretty big classroom experience versus being at Agnes Scott. I want to mention that our average class size is about 16 students. So much different than that large classroom experience. You really are getting to know your professors in that setting, getting to know the other people who are in that class with you and hearing from them in that experience too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then last but not least, we've got 6 graduate programs on our campus, and those graduate programs cover lots of different things, but why I want to mention them in particular is because we do have an Agnes Accelerated 4+1 program. So if you're interested in coming to Agnes Scott and getting a bachelor's and a master's degree within 5 years, then you can pursue one of those Agnes Accelerated programs. We have a couple other 4+1 programs, partnerships with other institutions in the area, but this Agnes Accelerated is specifically with our own graduate programs. Okay, so earlier I mentioned Summit and that was our signature experience at Agnes Scott. And I want to come back to that now and expand a little bit more on it and talk about what that actually looks like. So Summit is our signature experience, like I said, and it is about giving our students these real world hands-on opportunities to really prepare them for life after Agnes Scott and prepare them for just a lifetime of professional and social growth and mobility. And the way we do that is through really focusing on these 3 areas that you see on the screen. So through global learning, leadership development, and professional success. And you're going to kind of take coursework and have different experiences that focus in all of these areas throughout your 4 years. So for example, with global learning, all of our students take introductory coursework that really focuses on the systems that affect the world and affect people all around the world. As part of that, there's also a global immersion program known as Journeys, where our students get to actually travel with the professor and the other students in that class with them to the place that they've been studying to experience that for themselves. So some of those courses, Carrie, I'm sure you know some of where our athletes have gone, but some of them have looked at women in Ghanaians leadership roles and gone to Ghana. Some of them are looking at diversity in health in Ecuador or industrialization in Iceland. So a wide variety of different opportunities for that course and for that global immersion program as well. In terms of leadership development, our students are also kind of taking introductory coursework on leadership and just what leadership even means, figuring out their own leadership style, figuring out their own leadership strength, and how they're going to be able to use that throughout their time at Agnes Scott and of course beyond their time at Agnes Scott. And another important piece of that leadership development is also figuring out, well, what does inclusive leadership mean? What does inclusive leadership look like? How can we be better allies? And so really focusing on that as part of the conversation they're having on our campus as well. And then lastly, professional success is kind of infused throughout your entire 4-year experience. There are internship opportunities and things like that, different support services through our Office of Internships and Career Development. And we're gonna go a little bit more into detail on some of those experiences in just a minute. But before we do, I want to talk about kind of your academic team at Agnes Scott. So if you're going to be an athlete, you're of course going to have the support of your coach. You're going to have a team who's there to back you up. But when it comes to your academics, you're going to have an academic team at your disposal as well. So this is kind of a built-in network that every single student is going to have to help them through their 4 years at Agnes Scott and help connect them with the resources and the tools that they need to be successful. So I want to briefly kind of talk through the 4 different pieces that make up this academic community. So every single student does get a summit advisor while they're at Agnes Scott. And these summit advisors are professional 4-year advisors who actually start working with students over the summer before their first year and work with them all the way up to graduation day. So they are a consistent person in your Agnes Scott experience who's there to help you figure out what your next step is. If you never know what your next step is, figuring out what you want to major in, what you want to study, finding opportunities within our campus community, whatever that looks like for you. We also have peer advising. So these are dedicated upper class students who really help our students over the summer, entering their first year of college, and then that first semester that you're on our campus as well. So while you're trying to figure out a new college, a new community, all of the resources that are available, some upper class students who have the hang of things and can help you start making those connections and point you in the right direction. For our students, most of them declare their major by the end of their sophomore year. So you do have a few semesters on campus to come, try a few things out, make sure you know what you want to study before you declare that major. Once you do declare the major, you'll also get a faculty mentor. So most likely it's a professor who you've probably taken a course or two with at this point, someone who you get along with, maybe who shares your same research interests. And so they would be your faculty mentor in that for that major, and would really help you make the most out of that academic experience. And I will say it's pretty popular for our students to double major. I know we've got some athletes double majoring as well. And so if you're double majoring, it's entirely possible that you'll end up with 2 faculty mentors, one for each of your areas of study. And last but not least, I want to talk about our career communities. So these are communities set up to really help you in that professional success and that professional growth throughout your time at Agnes Scott. So for example, maybe you know that you want to go into a nonprofit after graduating. You could join the nonprofit and art career community and work with a career coach who's specifically dedicated to jobs in that field and helping you find them. In addition to that career coach, it's also a network of other students who are interested in those fields, as well as alums who are out there actually living that field and doing jobs in it. So you're able to connect with resources both on campus and through that alum network to help you as you're going through your 4-year experience and preparing for life after graduation. So that's just a little bit of an overview of kind of who is available to help you as you're going through and trying to navigate your Agnes Scott experience. In terms of professional exploration, this is of course a big piece of what you're doing during your time at Agnes Scott. And we've got lots of opportunities for students to dive a little bit deeper and get some of that firsthand experience. One particular experience that students have is called SCALE. So the Sophomore Class Atlanta Leadership Experience. This is actually a built-in externship that all of our students have during their sophomore year on campus. And the way that it works is our students get together in teams of 3 to 5 students and partner with local Atlanta corporations and nonprofit organizations throughout the city, and are really able to spend time with the leaders in those different organizations and see leadership in practice, observe their leadership skills, ask questions, and really get to see, okay, well, what does leadership look like when you are actually out there facing the challenges of an organization? So that's a built-in externship experience, built-in professional experience that all of our students get during their sophomore year. But of course, there are lots of other opportunities for that firsthand experience while you're at Agnes Scott. So about 70% of our students do complete at least one internship during their 4 years. About half of them complete more than 2 internships. So a lot of opportunities. Again, I think that comes back just to our location in the city of Atlanta and all of the Fortune 500 companies, nonprofit organizations, research institutions, and so much more that are available in the city. And speaking of research institutions, about 52% of our students do complete mentored research during their time at Agnes Scott. So for some students, that might happen on our campus through programs like our Summer STEM Scholar Series, or there are also lots of other opportunities off campus throughout the city, throughout the United States. And right now, virtually, as we navigate the COVID-19 pandemic, so students are able to continue to make those connections and have those mentored research and internship opportunities. Okay, so I know that was a lot of information, and we're not even done yet, but I'm going to turn it over to Coach Busby to give us a little bit of an overview on our athletics programs.
Yes, so well, here's more information, right? Again, my name is Coach Carrie Busby, and I am the head softball coach here at Agnes Scott. I'm really excited to be here with you guys. So let's just jump right in with a quick overview. So we do have 6 sports at Agnes Scott: basketball, cross country, soccer, softball, tennis, and volleyball. We have about 71 student athletes in this year's class. Those student athletes in this year's class currently represent 12 states and 1 country. On-campus facility-wise, we have a soccer field, gym for basketball and volleyball, tennis courts, on-campus batting cages, they're turfed, they're beautiful. Track, we have a lap pool if you are a swimmer. We have an athlete-only weight room, as well as 2 other gyms. One is Snap Fitness, which is a 24/7 gym, as well as another gym located in Ulston, our campus center. We are a member of the USA South Conference, which is the largest Division III conference. And we are an NCAA Division III institution, which in short means we offer academic scholarships. So just a little bit of a snippet. I know Emily got into a lot of detail about academics at Agnes Scott and majors, but this is more specific to our Scotty student athletes. We do not limit their majors as coaches. We tell them and encourage them to do whatever they want to do and major in whatever it is they want to major in. We have approximately 13 student athletes double majoring. It's probably a little bit more than that now that we're a little bit more into our semester. On the side, you can see some of the more popular majors are larger and in bold. I even have an astrophysics major on the team. So if you want to do it, we're going to help you do it. You're going to be encouraged to do it. About half the softball team is studying something in the sciences, so it's definitely possible. Coaches are going to work with your schedules to make sure that games are not during class times, that we can rearrange practice to make sure that you can attend a resume builder workshop or a lab or something else that pops up. It's also a great check-in for us to kind of get to know you a little bit better and just have really good communication between both of us. We have athletic study halls that are mandatory for all our first years in their first semester. And once you get the 3.0, you're out of your study hall. It's really to help you just kind of manage your schedule. You're used to having busy lives and busy schedules. It's to help put that structure back in for you. All of our student athletes get really involved on campus. You know, we have class treasurers, people on honor court, we have people participating in Black Friars, which is our theater organization. We have student ambassadors, even student peer leaders. So they're very, very, very involved, which is awesome to see because they just get to do all of these things and have as many connections as they want on our campus. There's no limit. They also participate in a lot of internships and resume builders. I even had a player shadow a surgeon while she was in season. You know, as long as that communication is there, we're able to make that happen for you. I had a student present in a sociology and anthropology research conference at the end of our season about 2 years ago, and she was just so excited. It was an awesome experience for her. And, you know, it's just amazing to see them kind of succeed and excel in these areas. So Scotty student athletes are not even just involved in from an academic standpoint. They get to participate in their summit trips by along with their classes, along with every other student. It's not anything different from them. They don't have to take a different and a special trip just for athletes. They're going, and sometimes that happens in the middle of the season, and we make it work and it's fine and it's okay. 1 week you're traveling abroad, the next week we're back playing games. It's all great. And the best part about it is they're going to places like Jamaica and Northern Ireland and Morocco and Milan and all these amazing areas, and they come back and they have all these great stories. You know, I remember sitting on a bus coming back from their journeys trips, and we were getting ready to go to play a game in our conference, and all of a sudden I just hear them talking about what they did on their trips and how they loved this and how they love this, and all of our seniors and our juniors were chiming in, and it was a really cool bonding experience to kind of see from the outside. They also are participating in a lot of study abroad opportunities. A lot of our student athletes travel to places like China, France, and Spain. Currently, I have a student athlete that's hoping to attend a study abroad opportunity in Australia. And I have another one that's hoping to attend one again in Spain as well. And they're also extremely involved in all of our recreational activities. So like sophomore ring ceremony, big day on campus, believe me. Humans versus Zombies is a week-long game of tag on campus, dodgeball, kickball. Fun fact about kickball, I am the referee, so that's always a really good day for me, and I get really excited about it. They're also involved in tutoring, and as well as any resume building workshop that we happen to have on campus as well.
I feel like I also saw that recently Humans versus Zombies was on Instagram this year, which
it's virtual, yeah.
Yeah, virtual tag, I guess, is the new thing, the new COVID-19 thing.
Yes, and grocery bingo is really popular. They hustle out of practice just to get to grocery bingo, which is hilarious. Then they tell me what they won the next day. It's really funny. So moving along, why Agnes Scott? Why a school like us? There's a lot of tradition at Agnes Scott, and I think that's one of the things I personally love about us is that you have things like your sophomore ring ceremony, the ringing of the bell, the honor code, even Black Hat, which is essentially like our homecoming. There's so much tradition centered around Agnes Scott, and it's just so much fun to be there and to see how this history plays out and to be a part of it and to be a piece of it. You have a lot of community and support outside of the athletic department. You have a whole entire school that wants to see you excel and thrive in whatever it is you choose to do. That's why we set our academics up like we do. We have competitive and driven teams who want to go out and want to win conference championships. I can assure you, they're working really hard right now in the off season just to be able to do these things, even through COVID. And then finally, we have leadership development program outside of our academic programs. That's instilled into academics, but we also developed one for just our athletes. On Monday, I'm going to present on a time management piece along with this leadership development program. So I'm really excited to see how this plays out. This is year one of this. And then the great thing about it is you're going to learn more about your communication styles, learn more about your leadership style, who you are as a person, and not just an athlete. And then finally, you have coaches that care. Coaches that want to know who you are as a human being, want to be involved in your life outside of the X's and O's and being on a field. Our motto in athletics is live for it. We live for you, we live to be here, we live to play our sports because we love it. We want to be here, we want to be athletes, and we want to play, we want to go hard for it. So that's the motto in athletics, and that's generally our atmosphere. So along with this, I wanted to offer just a few quick, recruitment process tips. I have a lot of people that kind of come up to me at tournaments and other things and ask me, what's the recruiting process like? How does this happen? What do I do here? What do I do here? So I kind of narrowed it down to like 6 basic facts for you guys. 1, do your research. Know what schools you like. I always tell recruits, make a wish list. What do you want out of that college? Your dream college. What do you want? So make that list and do research. But also be open to other opportunities and to other schools because they might have something that you haven't thought of yet. Directly email or call your coach. Let them know you're interested. Email them, call them, do it on a regular basis. Follow up, okay? Make sure you're finding that questionnaire because I guarantee you they probably have a questionnaire on their athletics website and fill out that questionnaire. Go ahead and schedule a campus visit. Let that admissions counselor know you're interested in being an athlete or you play a certain sport because they're going to make sure to follow up and reach out to that coach for you as well. Talk to other students and other student athletes that currently go to that school because that's the best view. That's the behind the scenes. You want to know what that school is really like. And those are the people going, those are the people that have reasons why they attended it and ask them why. So get to know them too, because that's going to be your support in your community on campus as well. And then finally, go to games. Watch games virtually. A lot of us now have all of our games saved in a database online, so you can go in, get a feel for that coaching style. If you have an opportunity to go to a camp with that coach, go. Because you want to know that even if that school's perfect for you, you want to know that that team's right for you too, because that also matters along with the academics. So those are my quick facts for you and tips. And I hope you guys have a really great time through the recruiting process, because it is a fun time for you guys. So feel free to reach out to me or any other coaches within the athletic department.
Yeah. Thank you, Coach Busby. And I will say my favorite part of that advice was also to include your admission counselor in that process, because we're always happy to help you make those connections to the coach, do those introductions for you and help you in that process as much as we can. So now that we've talked a lot about Agnes Scott, hopefully you're ready to learn a little bit more and maybe even apply to Agnes Scott. We only have a couple minutes left together, so I want to briefly give you a little bit of information on how to do that. If you are interested in learning more, we've got a Great Scott open house coming up very soon on November 7th that I definitely encourage students to check out. You're going to be able to hear more about our academic programs, hear from current students about life on Agnes Scott's campus. So kind of like Coach Busby was talking about, that's a good way to get a little bit of insight into what it's actually like to be a Scottie, and also hear from some of our professors during that program as well. So if you're interested in learning more, that is a good first step. With that, for students who are applying for the fall of 2021 who attend Great Scott, they'd automatically get a $1,000 Great Scott grant if admitted to Agnes Scott. So it doesn't hurt to go ahead and check us out and learn more in that way. Just a few brief application highlights. We do have a few different application deadlines, including some coming up pretty soon. The two that I want to highlight are Early Action 1 and Early Action 2. So that's on November 15th and January 15th. This Early Action 2 in particular, on January 15th, is our merit-based scholarship priority deadline. So like Coach Busby mentioned, we are a Division III school, so we do not have athletic scholarships available, but we have merit scholarships available for students. In order to be considered for the full range of those merit scholarships, all you need to do is complete your application to Agnes Scott by January 15th. With that, most of those scholarships are going to range from about $18,000 up to $25,000 a year. And normally, once you get on campus, that's going to be renewable for all 4 years that you're on our campus, as long as you're maintaining about a 2.5 GPA. There are a few other kind of admission highlights on the slide as well that give you a little bit of insight into our application process. But the one in particular that I want to point out is that we are a test optional institution. We've been test optional for 10, maybe a little bit even more than that years. So we are a big fan of test optional institutions. With that, you can either submit SAT or ACT scores if you have them, or do an evaluative interview with me, your admission counselor, just to have a conversation for about 30 to 45 minutes about your academic preparation for Agnes Scott. The important thing about that test optional piece is that you qualify for admission as well as for all of our scholarships the same way, whether you're going to be submitting test scores or doing that evaluative interview. So that's an important thing to know in that process. And then lastly, I just want to make sure that you have our contact information in case you want to connect with us to learn a little bit more. Feel free to take a quick screenshot of this screen. It's got information for both Coach Busby and I on how to reach out to us, as well as our Instagram handles, so you can learn more from the admission office or from our ASC athletics departments. There are also some QR codes up there. So Coach Busby mentioned that athletic recruit questionnaire. The QR code on the right will take you straight to that, so you can go ahead and get in contact with a coach. And the QR code on the left will take you to a place to sign up for a conversation with me and learn a little bit more about Agnes Scott. And so that's all the time we have today. But thank you for joining us to learn more about Agnes Scott College.